Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. And today we have Clouds. This is a Disney Plus original film. It came out in 2020. It is 2 hours and 3 minutes long, with the barring credits at the end. And it's inspired by a true story. It is, whenever they say true story, you gotta know that it can't be everything one to one exactly as it happened in the right order, and all the details fall into place. They still have to make it so that it's a dramatic build, and yeah, they do that. You kind of have to figure out what you're in for when you're when right off the bat you know that this is a kid who his name's Zach Sobiek from Minnesota, and he is dealing with cancer right off the bat. He's doing chemotherapy, so he is bald, he is smooth, and but he has an enormously positive attitude about life. He is friendly. He's exuberant. He's just he lifts other people up. He treats people with kindness. Sometimes it's more than he can bear. Obviously, it's dealing with cancer is not a big thing. It's not a little thing. I should say certainly a big thing to deal with, and to minimize it is not something that anybody should be doing. But when you're dealing with it, it's certainly something that you have to choose to let it overtake you, or you can continue to live as long as you're able to. And cancer isn't always a death sentence. Depending on the type of cancer you have, where it is in your body, and everything else. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to tell you how all this works. But in this case, very early in the film, he learns that while he's been through chemotherapy a number of times, comes and goes, and he gets into remission. He's all right for a while, and then he has to go back into chemotherapy again. But at some point, he quickly it's determined that it is terminal, and he's got 6 months, 8 months or so to live, and yeah, they're like, if you might make it to prom. So you kind of know how this train is slamming into the station by the end of the film. You That's a really bad metaphor. I don't know. It's you kind of know where this is headed by the end. It could be that will he live? Will he die? That could be that drama. But I'm not gonna give you hope in that sense. But what this movie is about still providing hope. And he says early on in the film that what most people, what a lot of people struggle with, is what so many other people take for granted, and it's not something. It's something that a lot of us just don't think about when we're not dealing with cancer. When we're not dealing with a terminal diagnosis. In some cases, well, not some cases, a lot of us, even when we're not just teenagers, we see ourselves as invincible. We see ourselves as something where we have tomorrow. And that's not guaranteed to us. And that's pretty much the gist of this thing. And saying that, don't let knowing that you're dying prevent you from starting to live. Yeah. So, don't let a diagnosis as such as that to go, well, now I think I'm going to start living to the fullest. So it's an encouraging message. It's definitely a message film. It just shows not just his struggle, but the struggle of his best friend, and who is co-songwriter Sammy, red-haired girl, who is seriously, they've been best friends since practically babies, and they write songs together sometimes, and she's not really good at performing. Well, she has stage fright. It's not a matter of she's good at performing. She's a great performer. She's a great singer, but she is real scared to go on stage. So uh, very early on in the film, he pretty much takes it upon himself to be the performer for his school talent show kind of thing. This takes place in 2012, just so you know. It starts out fall 2012, and it kind of goes from there. So it's over a series of months, and as he deals with it, as his best friend deals with it, as the girl he likes, Amy, deals with it, and how his family, especially his parents, played by Nev Campbell and Tom Everett Scott. It's both of them. You might know them. She's Party of Five and Scream. Tom Everett Scott, I think he was in That Thing You Do. I think. I hope I'm not screwing that up, but he looks like he was in that. He's been in a bunch of other stuff too, but so is Nev Campbell. But yeah, it's Nev Campbell's probably and Tom Everett Scott are probably the biggest names in this film. But it's and they play proud parents that are struggling to deal with how to deal with knowing your child is going to die. So yeah, if you're looking, it is an uplifting film. But if you think you're going to get out of this without having a box of Kleenex next to you, you are sorely mistaken. You are going to be losing at least half a tissue, maybe 15. I don't know. Maybe you're just cynical, or your heart is made of stone. I have no idea, but yeah, it's you get a little misty eyed at the very least toward the end. If you're prone to bawling your head off, well, this is gonna do it. That's your evening right there. That's yeah. I would just yeah. So expect a sad, sweet film. It takes a certain number of liberties that I wouldn't normally expect to see in a Disney Plus original film or Disney film. There is a little bit of a moment where Zach and his girlfriend are about to get it on. They're about to get it on, and no, it doesn't get into any sexy R-rated territory at all. But yeah, it's a little bit more. I don't know. It's a little bit more than I expected for Disney Plus. Let's just say that, but it's still like rated PG at best. This is a rated. Is it rated G or is it rated PG? It's PG-13. It's PG-13, but still, yeah. I mean, you're dealing with death. You're dealing with life. You're dealing with teenagers struggling to survive, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's gonna be a little bit emotional, and you're dealing with a kid who wants to live life and deal with have the things that he realizes he's not going to get to experience. He's told in school they're supposed to write an essay about what they're going to want to do in college, and this breaks him pretty quickly after he learns about his terminal diagnosis. That he's like, why? I'm not going to go to college. How heartbreaking it would be to even write something like that when you're like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. It's not possible. So yeah, it's like I said, there's lots of humor in this. It's very sweet. There's lots of that's not romance, but it's teenage love and things like that. There's a lot of beautiful, sweet moments in this. But you are dealing with it. We're not pulling punches in this. You're dealing with a true story of a kid who writes music, and that music is his expression, is how he expresses how he feels in his final months and where it takes him. It takes him to the top of the #1 downloads chart on iTunes. Yeah, honestly, I don't recall this song myself, but I don't listen to pop music radio really, so I don't know. I can't say that I would have heard this song, Clouds. That's the name of the song that he's best known for. Yeah, he's raised a ton of money in even after he's gone, to help children who are dealing with the same kind of cancer he's dealing with, osteosclerosis. I think it's that. But if not, I mean, you can look up Zach Sobiek online, and Zach Sobiek Charity cancer, those kind of things, and it will lead you to his charity that you will hopefully be, if you're able to contribute to help uh, find a cure and save some lives of a lot of little ones who were suffering from the same thing that he had to deal with. But yeah, he had a much he had a pretty cool, not cool. Who It's cool. He's not like a Viking warrior or anything. He's maybe in spirit. I don't know, but he had kind of a few of his dreams come true in his final days. So yeah, it's I'm not gonna. I know I've ruined way too much, but you're gonna have to travel that whole thing. Me talking about it is touch not going to touch anything that this movie's going to give you. I do not recommend it if it's something that you're just like, I don't like feeling feelings. But I recommend it. The acting is great. I like I've said in the past videos, when it comes to teenagers and little kids acting, I'm pretty hard on them. I realize that a lot of these kids just aren't good. They go with the best they can get, and most of the time it's not really that great. And it's like the producer's nephew or something that gets the role half the time. But in this case, it's great casting. Everybody is top notch. And if you stay to the end to watch the credits, you get to see the real Zach and Sammy perform their songs. They videotaped it. You get to see what their family looks like, and the actors who portray them look very much like the actors in. The actors who portray them look very much like the real people in real life. Like Neve Campbell looks very much like the mom. Their hair is almost the same. It's kind of interesting. But Sammy, the girl who plays Sammy, looks very much like Sammy. It's kind of crazy. And a lot of the props that Zach uses, like his red and black crutches, some of the shirts he wears, a blanket that he has on his bed, all those are really Zach's things that they used in the film. So the actor who played him, which I haven't said his name yet, Finn Argus, wore and used a lot of Zach's real things in this film. That's kind of crazy. It's kind of wild. Obviously this is the blessing of his family, so it's they didn't make it without their permission or anything. But I want to say that it's Zach Sobiek is played by Finn Argus. Sabrina Carpenter plays Sammy, his best friend. Madison Eisman plays Amy Domley. And their teacher, Lil Rel Howery, plays Mr. Weaver, the teacher he always has a quote ready to go. He's one of the funnier things about this. This is directed by Justin Baldoni, but the music, there's a little bit of a trivia here. The music is done by the original score, I should say, Brian Tyler. There's a little weird bit of trivia here. Brian Tyler did the original songs and composed the soundtrack to this. Not the Zach music that they wrote, but everything else. But Brian Tyler also just recently did the soundtrack for Scream, which also stars Neve Campbell. Is he married to somebody? Maybe him and Neve Campbell are married. I don't know. That would be weird. No, probably not. Who knows? But that's a weird coincidence. If you find that's not a coincidence, you let me know in the comments. Anyway, I will pick tomorrow's episode. Now.
631.
631. Okay. 631. Okay, we're way up. Way up there. Come on. Come on. Oh, almost at the end. All right, we're back in documentary territory, and we're back in the wild section, where there are a number of wild documentaries. It's a series of different things around different parts of the world. They explore different parts of the planet, countries, lands, things like that, seas, and we get to see what the creatures and animals and everything else, the ecosystem that exists in that part of the world. And tomorrow's episode, we're going to Wild Uganda. Wild Uganda is what we're watching next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.